Book of Heaven, Volume 11. The 2nd of September to the 14th of October 1912. Page 33 to 38. September 2, 1912. How harmful is the thought of oneself, and how much good does the thought of Jesus alone? The souls who are united to the divine will, whose only thought is to love Jesus, are like the rays of the sun for him. I was saying to my always adorable Jesus, my only fear is that, somehow, you might leave me and withdraw from me. And Jesus, my daughter, I cannot leave you because you are fixed in me, and therefore you do no act which is self-reflexive and inappropriate to yourself, neither do you have any care for yourself. For one who really loves me, reflection on and care of self, even in good, are like many gaps formed in love. Therefore, my life cannot fill the soul completely. I am as though banned, cornered, and they give me the occasion to make my little withdrawals. On the other hand, the soul who is not inclined to the concerns of her own cares but thinks only of loving me, takes care of me, and I fill her with everything. There is not a point in her life in which she does not find my life, and if I wanted to withdraw, I would have to destroy myself, which can never be. My daughter, if souls knew how harmful certain self-reflections are. They bend and lower the souls, making them keep their faces turned inward. The more they look at themselves, the more human they become. The more they think, the more they feel their miseries and become miserable. But if they think only of me, of loving me and being all abandoned in me, their souls straighten up, and by keeping their sight on me only, they rise and grow. The more they look at me, the more divine they become. The more they meditate on me, the richer, stronger and braver they feel. The union with the divine volition leads the soul toward the oblivion of herself and to the contemplation of God. Then he added, my daughter, the souls who are united with my will, who allow me to give my life within them, and who think only of loving me, are united to me like rays to the sun. If the sun were unable to form its rays, it could not extend its light and heat. The rays give more beauty to the sun. Therefore, through these rays alone, which form one single thing with me, I extend myself upon all regions, giving light, grace and heat, and I feel more embellished than if I had no rays. Now, one could ask a sun's ray how many courses it has made, how much light and how much heat it has given. If it had a mind it would answer, I don't want to bother with this. The sun knows and that's enough. If I had to give light and heat to more lands I would do so, because the sun that gives me life can do anything. If that ray wanted to think about it and look back at what it did, it would lose its course and become dark. Such are the souls, my lovers. They are my divine rays. They don't worry about what they do. Their only intent is to remain fixed within the divine sun. If they wanted to think, it would happen to them as to the sun's ray. They would lose much. September 6, 1912. The ones who experience the benefits of having Jesus close to themselves. Continuing in my usual state, blessed Jesus came and told me, my daughter, I am inside and outside the souls. But who experiences the effects of this? The one who approaches my will with his will. The one who calls me, who prays, and knows my power and the good I can do for him. Otherwise, it happens as to that man who has water in his home, but doesn't go to it to take a drink. Even if there is water, he does not enjoy the benefit of it and burns with thirst. In the same way, if he is cold, he does not approach the fire to get warm. Although the fire is there, he will not enjoy the benefit of its heat, and so on with all the rest. What is not my sorrow in wanting to give, while there is nobody to take my benefits? September 29, 1912. The divine will in Jesus is the center, the life and the origin of everything in him. Jesus is the one who disposes the intentions of one who lives in his will, in whatever he does. Only Jesus is enough for him, while earthly things do not attract his will, so, if he eats, it is only according to the will of God. I am writing of past things. I was thinking to myself, the Lord spoke to some about his passion, to some about his heart, to some others about his cross, and many more things. I would like to know which soul has been favored the most by Jesus. My adorable Jesus came and told me, "My daughter, do you know who has been most favored by me? The soul to whom I manifested the prodigies and the power of my most holy will. All other things are parts of me, while my will is the center, the life and the holder of everything. My will directed my passion, gave life to my heart, and exalted the cross. My will understands everything, catches everything, and activates everything. My will is greater than anything. As a consequence, the one to whom I spoke about my will has been the most favored, above everyone and everything. How much you should thank me for having admitted you to the secrets of my volition. Even more, the one who is in my will is also in my passion. She is my heart. She is all the beauty of my cross, and she is my very redemption. Nothing dissimilar exists between us. Therefore, I want you completely in my will, if you want to take part in my goods." Another time I was thinking about what would be the best way to offer our actions, our prayers, etc., whether as reparations, adoration, etc. My always benign Jesus told me, "My daughter, one who lives in my will and does her things because I want it so, does not need to dispose her intentions. Since she is in my will, as she operates, prays or suffers, I myself dispose these things the way I please. Do I like the reparation? I place them for reparation. Do I like love? I take them as love. Being the owner, I make of them whatever I please. It is not so for those who are not in my will. They dispose, and I respect their will." Another day, having read in a book about a saint who, first had almost no need of food, and then needed to feed herself very often, her necessity being such that she would cry if they didn't give her something, I remained concerned, thinking about my state, since once I used to take very little food and I was forced to bring it up, and now I take more and I don't bring it up. And I was saying to myself, "Blessed Jesus, how is this? I consider this a mortification for me. My wickedness leads me to these miseries." And Jesus came and told me, "My daughter, do you want to know why? I am here to make you content. At the beginning, in order to render a soul completely mine, to empty her of all that is of the senses and place into her all that is celestial and divine, I detach her even from the necessity of food, in such a way that she almost doesn't need it. So, the soul rises high, neglecting and ignoring everything. Her life is celestial. After I have trained her well, for years and years, no longer fearing that the senses might shade her, since after the soul has tasted the heavenly it is almost impossible that she might appreciate earthly things, which are nothing other than mud and slime, I give her back to ordinary life, because I want my children to take part in the things that I created for love of them, but according to my will, not to theirs. It is only for love of these children that I am forced to feed the others. Further, since many use natural goods with attachment and not according to my will, it is for me the most beautiful reparation to see these souls who, like celestial children, take the necessary things with sacrifice, detachment, and according to my will. How can you say that there is wickedness in you for this? Not at all. What's the evil of taking, in my will, a little more or a little less of what is nothing other than an earthly thing? Nothing. Nothing. There cannot be any evil in my will, but always good, even in the most insignificant things. October 18, 1912. Jesus and Luisa cry together. This morning, my always lovable Jesus came for just a little, all afflicted and crying. I cried together with him, and then he said, "My daughter, who is it that makes us cry and oppresses us so much? It is the cause of the world, isn't it?" And I, "Yes." And he, "For a cause so holy and so without personal interest do we cry, and yet, who considers this? On the contrary, they laugh at the affliction we suffer because of them. Ah! Things are still at the beginning. I will wash the face of the earth with their very blood." And I could see so much human blood being shed, that I said, "Ah! Jesus, what are you doing? Jesus, what are you doing?" October 14, 1912. All that Jesus does in his chosen souls is eternal and not subject to death. Finding myself in my usual state, I was lamenting with Jesus about my poor state, saying, "How can I benefit from the many graces that you gave me in the past? You even crucified me with yourself. What's the benefit, if now everything is over?" And Jesus, "My daughter, what are you saying? What? Nothing can benefit you, everything is over? False. You deceive yourself. Nothing is over and everything benefits you. You must know that everything I do to the chosen souls is sealed with the seal of the Eternal One, and there is no power that can take the work of my grace away from the chosen soul. Therefore, all the operations I have made to your soul exist, have life in you, and give you continuous food. Did I crucify you? The crucifixion exists, and it exists for as many times as I crucified you. Many times I delight in working within the souls and to put things in storage. Then I renew my work without taking away what I have done before. Therefore, how can you say that nothing benefits you and that all is over? Ah, my daughter, the times are so sad that my justice reaches the point of rejecting the chosen souls who would take the lightning upon themselves, preventing it from falling on the world. These are the dearest victims of my heart, and the world forces me to keep them almost inactive. But this is not their lack of activity since, being in my will, they do everything, while it seems that they do nothing. Rather, they embrace immensity and eternity, but the world, from its own wickedness, does not enjoy the effects of this,